Hello everyone, and welcome to my classic Season of Discovery Shaman leveling guide. In this guide, I'll talk about different tips and tricks, the talent trees I like to level with, how I will gear up as I'm also gaining a ton of experience, and last but not least, the best race, or well, what I would choose for each individual spec. So first, I will be talking about the different talent trees I like to use whenever I level up a Shaman, and I will either do this as elemental or enhancement. Resto is not good. Yeah, if you plan to heal in dungeons, then you don't need to be a Resto Shaman at low level, just get some items with intellect. So if you plan to level as an enhancement, then I would recommend you to spend 5 points into shell specialization. The reason why we spend 5 points into this is because you don't want to increase your maximum mana. 5% maximum mana is nothing at low level. In the next line, you have a couple of options. What I usually do is to either spend 4 or 5 points into Thundering Strikes, simply to increase the critical strike chance of my weapons. What you should never spend points into is Guardian Totems. You won't benefit from this at all at low level, so it's a waste. And this is the same with Ghost Wolf. This spell is unlocked at level 20, so right now it's a waste. So what you should either do is to improve your Lightning Shield or Thundering Strikes. I usually just go with Thundering Strikes. Because we spent 5 points into shell specialization, then you'll most likely also continue to level with a shield and a one-hand weapon. If you found a good two-hand weapon, then you could of course spend a point into this talent, but I usually just skip it. This is also the same case with enhancing totems. I don't feel like it's a big upgrade. Right now I feel like it's way more important to get a faster Ghost Wolf or a better Lightning Shield. Lightning Shield allow you to kill the enemies a bit faster, and Ghost Wolf to get to the next enemy or to another location a bit quicker. And I don't find anticipating any good, as you won't kill the enemies any quicker by using this. So what I basically will be doing is to get Lightning Shield, Ghost Wolf, more crit, and of course higher chance to block with my shields. And then I'm 24, and the next time I'm going to level up, I'll most likely respec to prepare for raiding. You could also level up as elemental. And in the two first things, you can either reduce the mana cost of your lightning spells and shocks, or increase the damage that you do. What I usually just go with is to reduce the mana cost, because my mana pool probably won't be too high, and also because 5% increased damage won't really matter that much, compared to 10% reduced mana cost. In the next row, I don't feel like there's many good options. Maybe you could spend points into increasing the damage of your fire totems, but that's also about it. Else you could spend 5 points into increasing the damage of your lightning spells and shocks. But if you spend 3 points into increasing the damage of your fire totems, then you just spend 2 points into this. And now you can finally unlock Elemental Focus. 10% chance to enter a clear casting after casting a fire, frost or nature spell. So huge when leveling up, but also to be more efficient with your mana at level 25. All the remaining points are spent into Call of Thunder, as I feel like this will be most efficient until I reach max level. Next up is some different tips and tricks I find useful when I play as a Shaman. Lava Burst is a new spell in classic Season of Discovery, and whenever you have an active Flame Shock, then this will always crit, dealing a high amount of damage. But to make sure you never forget to apply your Flame Shock, then I would highly recommend you to make a cast sequence macro. So a macro that will use your Flame Shock followed by your Lava Burst, and it will always do this. Of course you should always keep your Flame Shock and your Lava Burst ability on your action bars, but this is just one button and then you'll do both things. If you're used to playing a Shaman, then you might also know that you can stack all your totems on top of each other. This is honestly quite easy. Your Earth Totem will always be placed at the top right, your Fire Totem at the top left, your Water Totem at the bottom right, and your Air Totem at the bottom left. So now you also know what totem you need to spawn and how you need to move your character to place them on top of each other. So the Water Totem here, I will have to move like this and a bit to the right when I need to place the Air Totem. And this is how you stack your totems together. In PvP this is so amazing, because when they're stacked together, it's also a lot more difficult to hit the right one. And in the end, it could cause the other player to end up spending seconds to destroy the right totem, enough time for you to either get away or do a lot of damage. Your Searing Totem can also be your worst nightmare if there's a nearby enemy, as it will most likely start casting. If it's about to do this, then I would highly recommend you to spawn another one and continue to do this until you're out of range. Next up is some gear you should try to collect as you're leveling up. In Dead Mines you can get this amazing chest and even a decent cloak as well. Useful for enhancement, but also if you plan to tank in the future. You can also get some decent caster loot, and as an enhancement shaman, you might even find the staff and the ring useful. Another dungeon you should also do is Wailing Cairns. Amazing enhancement loot, but also some decent caster loot. At least the ring. The shoulders isn't really that great. Also because when you slay the final boss, you get the glowing shard, and the reward from this is, for example, these shoulders. The last dungeon that is mandatory to do is Shadowfang Keep. In Shadowfang Keep you can obtain this amazing ring with a ton of strength, or for example the shield if you plan to tank in the future. There's also different caster and healing loot, and yeah, the item level but also the level of these is so high, so this will definitely be gear you will be using when you plan to start raiding. You can also obtain different weapons, a staff, a two-hand axe, or even a dagger. Another thing you can also do to obtain some decent items is to, for example, look for a leatherworker or level up this profession yourself and craft these amazing gloves. Or as a tailor, craft the spider silk boots that gives a lot of stamina, intellect and spirit, useful for healers and elemental shamans. So by doing dungeons on your way to level 25, then you will save a lot of time and also gain a ton of experience from the kills you do and also all the different quests. And these quests will not only reward you with experience, but of course also green and blue items. I'll talk more about dungeon quests and how to obtain the different ones later in the video. Next up is the best race to choose as a shaman. If you choose to play as a taunt, then you'll benefit a lot from your war stomp. This will give you enough time to also cast a ghost wolf and run away, so if you're about to get killed in the open world or in a PvP situation, then this might also help you save your life. And war stomp either into a healing spell or maybe even your lava burst. Besides getting war stomp, then another benefit is that you will also increase your total health by 5%. This could be useful if you plan to tank as a shaman in classic Season of Discovery. As an orc, you'll benefit from hardiness that increases your chance to resist stun effects by 25%. Blood Fury that increases your attack power by 25% for 15 seconds, and of course Axe Specialization. So if you plan to play as an enhancement shaman, for example dual wielding, then I would highly recommend you to play as an orc. Also if you would like to PvP, as hardiness is so insane. As a troll, your most important racial is going to be Berserkering, that increases your attack speed and casting speed by anywhere between 10 and all the way up to 30%. This all depends on your current health. The two other racials isn't that important, and if I was going to play either as an elemental or restoration shaman, then I feel like Berserkering will benefit me the most, compared to for example Tauren and Orc that doesn't really benefit you much as a caster. So like I mentioned earlier, it will be important to do the different dungeon quests to gain more experience but also amazing loot as you're leveling up. But the thing is that some of these will also require you to travel around or do different pre-quests before you can acquire them. Therefore, I use an add-on to make sure I do all the necessary things. The name of this add-on is Rested Experience, and there's a free trial version you can download right now by using the link below the video. It also comes with a leveling guide just in case you don't know how to level. And of course a full version you can also purchase with a lot of other features. For example, in the future, how to acquire your most important runes at level 25. If you wish to get the full version, you can even get a discount by using the link and of course also applying my discount code GuideMMO. But the main reason why I mentioned the add-on was simply just so you knew where to pick up the different dungeon quests, what pre-quests you might also need to do, so you can plan all of this in your level 1 to 25 route. If you're mainly interested in classic Season of Discovery, then on my channel you can find a ton of different videos, and soon also a lot more, for example tips and tricks, gold making, and even leveling guides. So if you're interested in that kind of content, then I would highly recommend you to also subscribe and hit the notification bell so you get notified the next time I post a video.